Well, did we just get big updates for Spider-Man 4 and Venom 3? Sony has dropped a pair of new Marvel dates, and the rumor mill is already buzzing about what could land in these spots. Let's take a couple minutes to talk about the report, who I think is going to be there, and how it relates to the MCU schedule. Well, according to Deadline, Sony has dropped a pair of new dates that are officially assigned to Marvel movies. The rumor mill is already buzzing about these dates, and it looks like two of the most highly anticipated films will likely land in those slots. Now, Sony hasn't revealed which films officially are on the dates, but they have set aside November the 8th, 2024, and July the 27th, 2025. And both of those dates will see IMAX releases. Now, when you look at these dates, it's kind of sort of easy to figure out what would fit here nicely. The November 8th, 2024 date is more than likely Venom 3, which has already kicked off its production. Now, recently, Marvel Studios moved a lot of their dates, and this fits nicely into that schedule also. The Thunderbolts is set to be released December the 20th of 2024, with Captain America Brave New World in July, so a November release date for Venom 3 makes a lot of sense. We've also heard some rumors that they were eyeing a Halloween release date window, and this aligns with that pretty good. Now, as for the June 27th, 2025 date, well, that's the one that's more interesting to me. This sets this film about 6 weeks after the release of Fantastic Four, but nearly a full year before Kang Dynasty. This, to me, seems almost surely to be Spider-Man 4. We've heard a lot of talk in recent weeks about Spider-Man 4 from both Tom Holland and Amy Pascal, so it's pretty clear the movie is going to happen, and by placing it here, it sets up Spider-Man for his return to the MCU, but gives a lot of space between that return and the release of Kang Dynasty, which got pushed all the way to May of 2026. This has been a big question for many fans, and a lot of us were pretty worried Spider-Man 4 could be absolutely rushed. Marvel's recent delays would align nicely with what Sony has going on, and if you remember correctly, Marvel Studios actually produces those Spider-Man movies, so this big space at that time works well for Marvel to try to work all this out and get that film up and running before the next entry of the Avengers. Now, Sony has a lot of other stuff coming up, including Kraven the Hunter, which is set to release in October, with Madam Web in February. Now, we have a release date for Beyond the Spider-Verse set for March of 2024, but a lot of recent rumblings have suggested that movie could be pushed back. Sony has another release date set for July the 12th, 2024, about 6 months later, and more than likely if Beyond the Spider-Verse sees any delay, that's a backup slot that they've assigned for the project and are just holding out on the production status before deciding to move that movie. Obviously, both movies have a lot of hype behind them. Venom 3 is going to be the last entry for the Tom Hardy version of Eddie Brock, and the return of Tom Holland after No Way Home will be absolutely huge. Honestly, I think these are great dates for Sony. They give them enough space between some of the Marvel films that are already being released, allowing their movies to breathe, and more importantly, it gives Tom Holland's return some time to settle before Kang Dynasty kicks off, where he's rumored to play a major part. Obviously, we have to wait for Sony to confirm these slots for these projects, but it seems pretty clear to me when the news officially drops, we're going to have to wait and see.